3,
All right.
2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Kentucky Commons Radio Hour. We are here live, quote unquote, at Monnik Beer Company
Recorded
in the
live.
Schnitzelberg neighborhood of Germantown. We are joined today by David Satterley, John Ronayne, and with a special guest appearance, Ryan Berg,
Yeah.
who just literally walked in as we were recording this podcast because he
literally.
knew that something was going on upstairs here.
We're singing Highland Melody in my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
It's been kind of snowy here in Louisville this week. A lot of ice, a lot of snow. And we felt this was the neighborhood spot to go to because oftentimes when the roads are bad and you want a beer, you just go to the closest brewery that you can walk to. In most of our cases, that's Monnik. So we're here today to talk a little bit about snow days and a little bit of everything else. So, David, talk to us about what we're drinking right now here at Monnik.
Yeah, I wanted to throw it to Ryan just because he walked in. However, so with everything wrapping up with dry January, I know some of us got a little wet, no pun intended.
Nice.
You're just kind of getting back into it. I don't know how intentional any of this was. In fact, some of these things seem entirely coincidental. But there were two breweries that made a really nice style that you don't hear too much about. Czech Dark Lager, and then a Bohemian Lager. That would be, of course, Monnik and Gravely Brewing. Not a collaboration, just kind of happened. Great minds think alike. But this is a beer style that has kind of been obscured in the States for a while. I know, if you go overseas, you can have these pretty readily, especially in the Czech area.
You don't say.
Yeah, actually, it makes sense because it's in the name. However, these are great representations of like things that I've never had really on tap before. The Monnik version has, this like dark.
Yeah,
character
it's super,
to
super
it.
drinkable too. Like, you do. America associates lager with like light summer crushing lawnmower beer, but there's like a whole tradition of dark lagers just in Europe, all across everything from your like German box to the Doppelbox.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of kind of I guess Baltic Porter is technically a lager, or is it a porter? It's kind of one of those weird styles of beer that nobody exactly knows what it is.
But this fits in a different category. It's lighter ABV. It's like more intimidating, but less ABV. Similar to the Kentucky Common, which is very dark.
That's
but
what I was going to
also
say.
very light.
Yeah.
But this has got like a nice malty bit to it. It's got some of the Saz hops that make it just a smidge spicy.
Yep.
But really nice beer. It's good to get back into easy beers.
It was really confusing, though, at first when both breweries talked about this coincidence. And they played it up as this idea of like, hey, Monnik brewed a dark lager, and hey, we at Gravely brewed a dark lager. And they took pictures together. Like, they made a point to go to each other's breweries and like take photos. And I was like, is this a collaboration or not? But it wasn't. It was just pure coincidence, for better or worse. I haven't had the Gravely one yet, but this one with Monnik is so good.
Yeah.
I got two.
I have two as well. We're shooting far away from the bar today, so we got to back up.
But really, though, I can't stress this enough. Thank you, Monnik, for being open now with the icy and snowy roads, kind of counting on people walking here safely. It's actually a pretty good crowd downstairs right now, so they graciously let us upstairs into the upstairs private event loft area.
I actually don't know we're up here, so if we do...
We snuck in here, David showed something that he wasn't supposed to show.
No, the last time I did that, I got in trouble.
Right. Got arrested.
Exactly. So I think out of the four of us here, though, kind of transitioning gears, I want to say that all four of us tried to do dry January really well. And I think only one really won out, and that may have been Ryan Berg. Is that right?
Did the whole thing.
Nice.
So what was that experience like?
Oh, it was fun. Yeah. No, it was just pretty easy sailing. Felt great. Now back at it.
Yeah, I know. The first day, like, I mean, I drank 2 days. I had 2 beers when we had that Louisville Beer Week meeting at Akasha. And then there was a day that a child jumped off the stairs in the homebrew shop and busted their face on our concrete.
You got to have a
drinking
drink
a couple beers that day.
Stressful day.
Yeah. But other than that, cold turkey. But yeah, I think January 31st was actually, I was like, all right, here we go. And like, it just felt like garbage the next day. I was like, I didn't even drink that much. I had like 4 or 5 beers. And like, I woke up the next day and I wasn't like, hung over, like wanting to hug the toilet and all that stuff. But I just felt like,
just kind of blah.
Yeah, I just didn't have any energy. I just kind of felt like I need to eat something like nasty to get myself back to where I need to be. So it was a good experience to take some time away from the thing that I love the most in the world. Not you guys, but beer. And coming back into it, I'll have to consider like what my I don't know.
What's the long-term goals?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you want to what do you want to take from that good experience, and how can you apply that to the rest of the year?
I think for me personally, I always associated because I mean all of our jobs basically center around beer to some extent.
Not mine.
Well, yeah, this is your job.
This is your job.
This is
your job.
I'm
Yeah.
the treasurer now.
Big money guy.
But yeah, so I mean, for me, part of my job is drinking, and so I always kind of just associate that with what I do every day. But not having it, I think you guys have talked about this a little bit too. But you find other things to do, and you kind of have to make something else be your thing. So for me, doing like enjoying my mornings just with that little bit of extra energy, where you wake up at like 6 and you're just like, hey, like I don't even need a cup of coffee. I feel like I have energy. I'm ready to go. I didn't stay up until a stupid time of the evening because I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed and like read. So that's been nice, and maybe trying to just make sure that I have 4 or 5 of those days in a week is a good goal for me. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. David?
I think life is about balance.
Yeah.
First half of the month, like started off pretty strong. For me personally, the drinking aspect isn't so much about the drinking; it's about the social aspect and like my friends. And I don't have to go drink with my friends or do anything like that, but it kind of lends itself into that like realm.
I'll make one little interjection here too. I did have a few occasions to like be the sober person at a bar.
It's not
bad. Fun. No, I hate it. I can't stand it.
I thought it was okay.
I hate people in general. So like the only way I can be in social settings is to drink.
No.
Yeah.
So you're saying you don't want to go to the Pearl after midnight sober?
No, I do not.
I like people watching, so like that's no problem for me. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't feel like I was excluded or left out or anything like that. For me, it was just like, hey, a beverage sounds good.
Yeah.
Not really that I needed it. But again, it comes back to the, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. I just, like when in Rome, I guess.
Totally.
But if you live in the city of Rome, probably probably not a good thing for you.
And you know what? The few times that I went out to a bar with some friends during January, I would have some NA beers or mocktails, and actually weren't half bad. Like they of course, like the NA beers don't taste exactly, the flavor just isn't there, but something about the color, the carbonation, like you get some of the little bit of the hop aroma and the hop taste. It felt better to sit there with a bottle of Lagunitas NA IPA in my hand rather than a glass of water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which I always thought like it lended into like drinking as kind of a habit, not like a habit, like a bad thing, but like you go out, you have a beer.
You need something to do with your hands.
Right.
I mean, what
do I do with these?
Yeah, what do I do? I don't know what to do with my hands.
And that's why, like at home at the end of the night, I would have something, and it was either like a Kroger seltzer water or tea or kombucha. Like I loved the carbonation, so that's usually what I try
Yeah,
to
Elixir
gravitate
kombucha,
towards.
putting it in cans now too.
Oh,
Kombucha in cans.
clutch move.
Shout out to
It's
Elixir.
huge. Because I love kombucha too. Theirs is particularly good, but there is something about just like being able to crack something like that.
It makes my tummy rumble.
In a good way.
No.
I was able to do the mostly dry January up until about January 21st. I had to do a quick trip to Denver, and then in that case, I was like, you know
can't
what,
not
I
have beer.
can't
Yeah,
not
it's
have
like-
beer in Denver.
right.
So I drank for a few days there. One day, probably overindulged.
He was in Rome.
I was in Rome, and I did as the Romans do, and that's drink a bunch of stouts.
Hell yeah.
And then I got back, took a few days off, and then kind of after that, I have been drinking again. Like, it's February now, but in January I was still just like, you know what, it's fine. Cognizant of what I'm doing. I think I'm gonna want to do like a rule for myself. Maybe say, hey, it's Monday and Tuesday. Don't drink.
Yeah.
Don't drink at home
Sure.
unless you have a reason to.
Yeah.
Maybe if Kentucky's playing, you can have a drink. Maybe if the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, maybe you should have a drink then.
Maybe if the Bengals won the Super Bowl.
Or if if you want to continue that party from Sunday through the next Sunday, just drink every day, all day long, and that's fine because the Bengals haven't won a Super Bowl.
I had no idea
And
how many
ever.
Bengals fans there were in Louisville until like a week ago. It's
And
amazing.
I'll say on the last podcast, Michael said, by the time this comes out,
Yeah.
we'll know if the Bengals won the playoffs.
Oh, and they won,
And
baby.
yeah.
So,
They're going-
so maybe on this one you need to say
Yeah.
something to like. Do.
All right, so
by the time this episode comes out, we will know.
Well,
We will.
I'll base
We will.
my bet on what are you familiar with Mattress Mac?
Down in Houston.
What words are
Yeah.
you saying?
Oh, yeah, this dude that owns the little
You
company down there.
Yeah.
He's known for his extreme sports betting.
He's a very wealthy man.
Nice.
Very wealthy. My man drove to Louisiana and got on his little mobile app in a gas station there in Louisiana and put $4.5 million on the Bengals to win. So
who day?
who day
Wow.
to him? If they were to win that bet, my man wins $7.5 million.
You want to talk about liquid death?
I was about to say that's a $4.5 million is a fraction compared to what liquid.
Are you familiar with what Liquid Death did? The
They like make it
The
cold in the
water.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm familiar with the product, but I didn't hear about this.
So
No.
apparently they are the first.
In a brilliant move, in my
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely.
Either way.
They're the first official corporation/brand to make a bet.
You know what? A friend of mine in the beer industry, formerly in the beer industry up in Indianapolis, just got a job as a sales rep with Liquid Death. And
Nice.
he texted me this afternoon that he'll be in Cincinnati for the Super Bowl, and he alluded to a bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he the witch?
So
Yeah. Tell the story.
He
The
wants
story's
it.
amazing.
He wants
So hold on. Not only is the brand getting recognition for putting money down on the Super Bowl, it's being the first brand to do so, which I don't know if that's true or not. I've never heard of it. I find it hard to believe.
They're the first one that's like publicized it as a marketing campaign that I've ever heard of.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, but not only that,
No, that's
they
the
are
tip of the
sending a witch of some sort to the game to perform black magic in
No,
the
not
Bengals.
of some sort. Of
Like a Wiccan.
very,
Like a-
very
like a-
legitimate witch.
Has this witch been to the witch tree in Old Louisville?
Probably.
Who's to say?
Tom Brady's
Who's-
wife is a witch.
Wait, that's not right.
Yeah, it's
Did
definitely.
you see? Oh, he
Yeah.
Giselle is a witch.
he,
Is she
he, let,
wicked?
Yeah.
he let some things out.
Yeah.
Hold on. Does she identify as a witch or like is a witch?
No, I don't think it was a. I don't think it was
You guys have lost me.
witchiness per se. It was more like
She's a witchy woman.
like speaking things into existence, or like using crystals and
Yes,
and shit
yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an earth
So is-
mother.
Yes,
She's a
so
spirit
that's
of
not
the-
witch to me.
So they're actually talking about some lady who's going to go and like do like remember when in Harry Potter 1 when somebody's like trying to fuck up Harry Potter while he's doing Quidditch with some kind of curse?
Or Hermione trying to help Ron
Yeah.
in the Prisoner of Azkaban or
Professor
whatever.
Quirrell. And
Half,
Exactly.
half
Snape
Blood
was
Prince.
muttering his little counter.
That's a movie.
So basically that, but the Super Bowl. And they bet money on it, and now they're trying to like guarantee the outcome by putting a hex with a whip via
Which,
a
by the
witch.
way, if I'm in charge of if I'm in charge of like Big Sport Gaming Inc., I'm kind of mad that somebody's like trying to
hex your team.
put some hex on
Well,
that.
they got some bigger issues going on with the Miami Dolphins these days. So their owner was paying for the team to lose.
Let me also just, since we're thinking about
is that
this, if
beyond
you could
point?
hex a sports team and affect the outcome of games, why wouldn't all witches be like millionaires at this point?
Maybe they haven't thought of it.
It's
Maybe.
called,
Maybe they're not forward
Maybe,
thinking.
or maybe
Okay.
it's
hey,
like that
hey,
thing
that's rude.
when you
I'm
do
just- I
something
said maybe.
evil, it
I
comes
said
back
maybe.
to you times
It's
3
called
or
the
whatever.
black market. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if you know it. It's not highly publicized.
Well, do we know that they're not very
No,
wealthy?
you're right, because if they were smart, we would know nothing about it.
It's kind of like if time travel exists,
Right.
we would know about it, except unless they were very sneaky about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's me. It takes 8 microwaves. You need 8 microwaves and the components from those to make a time traveling device.
You put a fork in every one, and you just run in a circle and turn them all on.
Okay. Wow. So yeah,
This is getting
the Bengals
very-
will win the Super Bowl. If the Bengals win the Super Bowl, what Cincinnati brewery should I celebrate with?
Ryan Geist.
Whatever one Marina and Bromovic is at.
Street side.
That's good.
I've never been to Streetside or even heard of it.
Urban Artifact.
Or,
That's my favorite
Urban
one.
Artifact's gonna be up
But
there.
you might have to pay like $18 for an 8-ounce can.
Oh,
But it is a church, and
But it
the
is a church.
witches will probably not go
And
there.
the Super Bowl's on the Lord's Day.
Yep.
So there we go.
and so Listerman's probably going to come out with some beer that says something along the lines of like just Houday. They're just going to flat out steal the IP from.
Sure.
What about
Bengals.
Houday Delight? Is there? I wonder if they'll
Houday
capitalize on this.
Delight.
There we go.
There, that's
Yeah.
it.
Hootie Delight.
Houday Delight.
When you sound it out, it sounds different.
Yeah.
Houday
It does.
Delight. Houday Delight. It's French. Houday Delight.
Maybe they were investing in the team like for years.
This is a long con.
Yeah.
Long game.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I want to say that they did make that though, or maybe that was Christian Moorline.
Moreline did
Yeah.
because they had a literal tiger as their.
Oh, okay.
That's a brewery I haven't thought about in like 10 years.
They still exist.
I know.
And aren't they? Or no, that's Taft's that
yeah.
has a
Well,
relationship.
Taft's is a good one to celebrate with.
Yeah.
Make some good beers.
Gravely's, which one? I'm just, joking.
Yeah.
Inside baseball.
No,
Exactly.
not really.
Um,
Speaking of Bohemian lagers,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Gravely's coincidental counterpart to Monnik's 12P Czech lager is a Bohemian lager.
We talked a little bit about multimillionaires trying to manipulate our sports teams. Did you have another multimillionaire story to share?
yeah, I was just reading the news headlines this week, and did y'all hear about this Elon Musk child situation? That sounds worse than it is.
No.
We're going to get banned just because you said those three words together.
But no, so Elon Musk has a private jet, as to surprise to nobody. And
Epstein had a private jet.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, again, not related to any wrongdoings that we know of.
Alleged wrongdoings.
Yeah. So
Billionaires.
yeah, I don't want to get sued. But no, so the thing about private jets is those are all trackable because of air traffic. You can know public record where somebody is coming and going.
Yeah.
Tail numbers.
And you probably should know where all the jets are in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
seems
So
It's smart.
this
Yeah.
15-year-old created a Twitter account that was basically just like Elon Musk's jet.
Love it.
And
Yes.
and he was all the Twitter account was doing was tracking the comings and goings of Elon Musk.
okay.
Again.
Elon Musk's jet.
Right.
His jet, which is
Again, public record.
publicly available information.
And so this it was pretty quiet about it, but was gaining followers more and more every day.
Gen Z scares me.
And,
I know.
And,
man. I
and,
love it. I love it.
and Elon Musk is a little afraid at this point. Not
It's like, why are these
afraid,
guys
but
watching
more,
my
but
jet?
more just like, hey, why?
Yeah.
Kind of rightly so, but why? And so Elon Musk, who is worth whatever amount of
I
money
can't
you
even
can think
remember how
of,
many billions right now.
Googleplex worth of money,
Yeah.
tried to buy the kid off for $5,000 and said, "Hey, can you please stop this Twitter account? Stop tracking my jet. $5,000. Here you go." And so the kid, rightly so, said, "No. What about $50,000?"
This is what the person who picked up Nellie's bag should have
Call back.
was higher compensation.
Did you know that Nellie's name was Cornell?
I told you his name was.
Oh, I just found that out recently. So this kid then, Elon rejected the ask for $50,000, which again,
Yeah. 50 grand.
pennies to Elon. If that's something you really wanted, he would have made happen.
That's the change in his couch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you care about this at all, like, what's the difference to you between $5,000 and $50,000?
But here's the interesting thing. Then the kid decides to go to the media with the story
the Barbara Streisand effect.
and says, "Hey, this happened. This was an exchange that
Yep.
my buddy Elon and I had."
So did you get like an email from Elon?
Yeah, how'd that work? Did he go through like a publicist, or did he get
PLZ
or
stop.
did he
It was-
slide the DMs?
It was a Tesla update actually in the kid's car.
If you find the 15-year-old, tell him to stop tracking my jet.
So, at the end of the day, the kid's not getting anything He made some headlines, but there's really no impetus or reason that Elon should ever pay anybody now at this point, because this kid's setting a standard of like, hey, if he pays me to not do it,
Right,
then you can
right.
start a Twitter account, and then maybe he'll pay you to not do it. And at this point, it's just like we kind of hope it goes away.
Well, this is rolling on TikTok too. People are buying accounts with like ESPN sucks or ESPN S, and they're like, "Hey, well, I'm holding your account hostage until you pay me this much." I've seen it with Charmin. I've seen it with any major brand that doesn't have a social handle on a, I guess now
Negative.
widely accepted platform.
Yeah.
People
I'd
are
snatch 'em
holding them hostage. In the
I've thought
IT
about-
world, we call that domain hijacking, because you would take somebody's website name
Squatting.
and then you sit on
Yeah.
it and then you
Yeah.
wait and you get paid out.
I've thought about that with athletes' nicknames,
Mhm.
like LeBron James' son Bronny. He just copyrighted all of his Bronny, Bronald, like every nickname that it goes by. Bronald, yeah,
Bronald's
that
not
one was-
real.
that one-
Can you tell me the NBA nickname or the player that has the NBA nickname Slim Reaper?
Kevin Durant?
Okay.
Wow. A few years ago, I had occasion to go to
I have
arod.com.
the KD ones in my apartment right now.
That was a trivia question at Highwire. I have to put them in every episode, so
Okay.
that was
Oh, there's
my
our
only-
Highwire reference for this week.
And there we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Highwire, for not sponsoring the podcast.
We had talked about the Nelly situation a few weeks back. Nelly losing the briefcase full of money. I was so curious to get the follow up from that story. I did do some research.
there?
Yeah, do you guys want to know what happened?
Yes.
Please, yes.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Isn't that fucking frustrating? What happened?
But that's exactly what happens now. Like,
It just goes away.
like something is happening in the news. It's a big story for 24 hours, and then it just disappears.
That's kind of how the world works right now. 24
I have
news
to know.
cycle,
That's the
our attention
outrage,
span is so short.
Yeah.
Outrage du jour? Is that what
So
it's
we haven't talked about beer in like 20 minutes at this point. So I want to know, though, I was at Third Turn the other day. I was drinking some beers there, and I noticed a huge display, a honeycomb display there of mead from Joel's Hive and Barrel Meadery here in town, or I guess in Crestwood. It's close
in
enough to
town. It's in
Louisville.
town.
It's in town. It counts, just like Bardstown counts.
Sure.
But
Have I
it's-
told
it's
you
so
on
close.
my mead theory?
But yeah, what's your mead theory?
Well, okay, so maybe we'll segue this back in. We're enjoying these kind of nice old styles of beers. It's just kind of a very traditional European dark lager. The past few years haven't really been about traditional styles and stuff. The past few years have been about hazy IPAs, fruited
Pastry
IPAs,
stouts.
pastry, whatever the fuck 450 North is doing.
Someone used the adjective pastrification.
Pastrification. I like that a lot.
The pastrification and the
The fermentator.
fermentator.
We're putting our pasties on.
But yeah,
Oh,
the pasties.
yeah.
One of the nice things about homebrewers is that we're such a little diverse segment of the population. We're always like 50 years behind mainstream culture,
Sure.
but that happens to be about like 2 or 3 years before mainstream culture starts to repeat itself again, if that makes any sense.
So you're right back in it.
Yeah, it's like the wheel of time. We're at the very end, but because history repeats over and over again, the end is the beginning.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, no, that's
There's
what-
also the chart of the like sub bipedal man into the bipedal man.
Yeah, right,
into the-
exactly.
And it's like Pilsner, and then
that's the band
Chuck
Devo,
Logan,
baby.
yeah,
It's
and
de-evolution.
and
yeah.
at the end you're at stout, and then you really come back right down to the Pilsner.
And so what we're seeing has been an appreciation for just traditional Hefeweizens, traditional German lagers. Now we're going even more old school. In the past like 2 months, everybody,
Everybody.
and their mother,
And their mother.
I do mean this literally. Their mother actually usually comes into the shop with them, wants to make mead.
Okay.
They have
Ooh.
gotten out of their parents' basement. They have come into the homebrew store. They have gotten a 1 gallon glass jug.
Yes.
They have some honey.
Yes.
They want to make mead. I've seen a lot of like trends come and go. Just mead. It's something's happening. I don't know what's
love
going
a good
on
mead.
with it.
I love a good mead.
I
What is
don't
it- what is
love
a good
mead, but
mead?
I appreciate it.
So the one mead I enjoy particularly that you can get pretty easily, it's called Viking Blood,
Oh yeah, that's the big one
Yeah.
that people.
and it has hops in it.
It's also got like hibiscus and like all this, like a lot of kind of,
hibiscus, and It's tasty. It's good. Makes me feel like a Viking. I
Yeah.
think that there's Viking in my blood somewhere.
Yeah.
So I like to drink.
I could
Viking
believe
blood.
it.
Yeah.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed Joel's Hive and Meadery
Mhm.
stuff. Schramm's is fantastic up near the Detroit area. I will say I had the holy grail of Schramm's Heart of Darkness in my clutches for a few months, but it's one of those. I mean, it's like an 8-ounce pour
Yeah.
of a bottle.
You can only drink well.
But here's the thing:
You can
that,
drink more than that, but it's only a good idea to
that
drink so much
8-ounce
mead.
pour or whatever it was.
Yeah.
10 ounces, 12 ounces. It was a small amount. It was a very small
It's
bottle.
187 milliliters.
Thank you.
thank
You already
you.
know.
Yeah.
187 milliliters.
Metric system.
It's worth well north of $250.
Dollars?
Yes.
$250.
Yeah.
Euros.
And so I won it.
I would refer to that as like one ram's horn.
Sure.
I have one.
I won
Me too.
it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
won it off of a shady duck racing website that we won't talk about. But it was one of those things. Just like, do I really care about mead that much to where I can drink it,
Yeah.
or do I want to say I gained $242
Yeah, right.
in the transaction
Right.
and sell it off again?
So what Michael is telling us is that he really doesn't like mead that much.
I don't like. No, I do like mead. I just like $242.
Not that
more.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
And in that point, I'm just like, okay, but Schramm's is really good though. I will say I've had other Schramm's. Don't know what I had off the top of my head. Great meadery. Next time I'm in Detroit, I'm gonna go there again. I had some at a local beer store type bottle shop. Didn't get to go there instead. Fantastic.
Well, so I'm willing to go out on a limb here, and history can prove me right or wrong. But I think that some kind of like mead movement is coming, and it's going to last about 18 months, and then we'll figure out what else we're doing.
But why do you think that is?
The only reason that I think that it is, I can say why I'm saying this, and then we can talk about why we think it is. It's just because it's happening. It's happening in the
But
store
like honey
every
is really
day.
expensive right now.
It's very
right?
expensive,
Like
but not if you have
honey-
bees. A lot of people have bees now. Like most of the people who come in, I say, yeah, the hardest part's just going to be finding honey, and they say, oh, my neighbor has tons of honey, and this is why I was interested in this.
I have a dog. I don't know bees.
Yeah,
Beets?
bees.
Bees?
The
Yeah,
bees.
No, I have a dog. I don't want bees.
As far as why this is happening, I mean, like Game of Thrones has been popular. That's like 5 years ago, right?
Oh, what was the?
Is there some kind of like TikTok D&D thing going on? Somebody told me that might be a thing. People playing Dungeons and
There's
Dragons.
a lot
D&D is
more
very
D&D.
D&D got
D&D's
very
up.
popular during the initial stages of COVID.
Yeah,
I think that it's just giving people who are more prone to being introverted the inspiration to make some of their dreams of making mead a reality. And I think that's great.
Is mead easier to make than beer?
Yes.
It's much easier to make mead. It's much harder to make good mead. than
It's
it is
it's
to
on
make
the
good
wine
beer.
spectrum,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it is wine.
I mean, it's a
It's
wine
wine.
license.
I know, but
from
you
most
can
of the
you can
state.
kind of make wine, and you're like, it's kind of when I cook food at home. I'm
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it's not great,
And the easy
but
thing
I
about
made
wine,
it, so I'm gonna eat it.
Wine is, I mean, wine is like a fucking monster in terms
Mm-hmm.
of like, you know, you look at the beer economy and then you look at the spirits economy. Wine is like on a whole nother level.
So if I were to make a mead, because I suck at making beer.
No, you don't, Michael.
I do.
No, you don't, Michael.
So, but let's just say that I want to make mead. You just as an average person, I might have better luck making an average mead than I'd have at making an average beer. Is that what you're saying?
It's hard to say exactly. It's simpler. It's a simpler process to make mead.
I mean, it's honey and
Yeah.
yeast.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you have a
Nutrients.
basic handle on
Nutrients.
fermentation, if you're just starting from scratch, I do think it's easier to make good beer than it is to make good mead.
Okay.
And especially that, let me put a sub paragraph on that, but because really the main ingredient in good mead just tends to be time. And so if it's like your first thing you're trying to do, you can get impatient. You can want to drink it young because that's the main thing people will say to me is like, why does this taste like hot and boozy and like green apple? It's like, how old is it? It's like 6 weeks. It's like, well, it needs to be like 6 months old, if not like 18 months old, before you really start drinking
So
on it.
you're-
Unless you're super meticulous with your firm yeast management, basically.
So you're seeing an uptick in people wanting to make mead.
yes,
And
uptick does not begin to describe.
Okay, so
Order of magnitude.
But here's the question. So at this point in Louisville, we're seeing a big growth in the beer scene. We know that meaderies can survive and exist via Joel. And,
Yeah, maybe
and
we can
Hyman
give Joel
Meadery.
some credit there. Maybe people in Louisville, Maybe it's a Louisville
So,
phenomenon.
but that's the question. We have a seltzery.
Mhm.
We already have the whiskey thing knocked down. So, are we going to start seeing more meadery here in Louisville?
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a few meaderies in Indiana.
You got that money, honey?
Honey money. Yeah. Honey is like freaking expensive. It's liquid gold, as they say.
So, if you were to open up a meadery in Louisville, is that a Nulu thing, or is it going to be like
I'm thinking Shively.
a lively, shively meadery?
Yeah.
All right.
And just, I would call it something like, because, it's,
I think for a meter,
You can get the job done.
You get out of the city, like you go like Preston Highway.
I would
like,
buy one of those
Or
old,
like where Joel's out in
Oldham.
Berg.
Yeah.
I mean, you get land. You can have an apiary. You can.
I just saw that Thoroughbred
An
Lounge
apiary?
18 went out of business down on Dixie Highway. Buy it, we turned it into a meadery.
We're glossing over. What is this called? An apiary?
Apiary.
Apiary.
That's where bees live.
Yeah, Michael, come
Not
on.
apes.
No,
No.
that's a.
Oh, this is worse than
or
my
Tangerary.
plywood and concrete question.
No, really though. Like you're saying that where bees live is called an apiary.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the
I'm gonna.
etymology of that word?
I don't know. You know Latin more than anyone else here.
That's why I'm really curious to see like what the hell that means.
I'm gonna.
Ryan's looking it up.
I'm
Let's
gonna
look it up.
Dictionary app that.
Dictionary.
Keep
Just
talking
Google
for a
it.
second.
Just Google it so much.
But yeah, I would get out of the city with more free cross pollination.
Where you can have an
other-
apiary.
Apiary, noun. A place in which a colony or colonies of bees are kept, as a stand or shed for beehives or a bee house containing a number of beehives.
That's some bullshit. What's the etymology?
I don't know.
Well, no, origin of apiary.
Someone
No,
consult
you
the.
do that. You do that.
What's the spelling bee people?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll allow it. That makes sense to me.
All right. And it's not etymology, it's
Entomology.
entomology. Yeah. Exactly.
Because
Thank
they're
you.
insects.
I was about to say ornithology, and then we would have opened up a whole new can of worms.
That's a bird.
That's what birds eat, though. So
So it's been a really cold and long winter, and we're talking about words. So I've been doing the Wordle thing.
The what?
The Wordle.
Wordle. Yeah.
Wordle.
Yeah.
And so yesterday was a big icy and snowy snow day where a lot of breweries weren't open. What do y'all do during those days when places close down? You want to have a beer at home and
I restarted Mandalorian.
the what?
The Mandalorian.
The what?
It's like a Star Wars show.
It's a Star Wars thing.
Can we talk about that? Are we gonna
No.
get sued?
No.
Also, I can't give up this much of my adultness to your all's little Pokemon, Star Wars
No.
games.
Screw you. Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian Season 3 is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I tiled my kitchen. That's what I did yesterday.
I don't own property, so I'm not allowed to
Fair
do that. I got in trouble for trying to fix my dishwasher.
That's the way it goes, isn't it?
Were you trying to clean out the filter? Is that what you were doing?
It was flooding my kitchen, and I tried to fix it because my maintenance guy wouldn't come fix it.
You're a
As-
terrible dishwasher repairman.
I'm better than my maintenance guy who just didn't show up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did you help the problem or did you hurt the problem?
Up for debate.
All right, guys. Thanks
Well,
for
so
listening
on,
to
on,
this.
that, on that note,
I don't know with
Meandering
my
episode.
dog, okay?
on that note, guys, John, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, well, Ryan's Drain, once again. Yeah, so
yeah.
make that segue.
Yes.
No, Valentine's Day is coming up. We have our collaboration that we made with Wild Hops over at Logan Street Market getting ready to go. I think we can spill the beans on that now. It's our Saison du Love. It may or may not be inspired by Saison DuPont.
It's inspired by love.
It's more inspired by love.
It's in the name.
So just a nice, clean, very dry Saison done with the new Lallemand farmhouse non-diastatic Saison yeast. I can't remember the name of the hops that we used. Kazbek, that's right. I knew it was like a Kazakh thing.
And then rose hips in the
And
boil.
then, most
Rose
importantly,
hips.
rose hips in the boil, and just we bought how many pounds?
3 pounds.
Yeah, follow us on
3
Patreon.
pounds.
We'll put a video up of Michael juggling the amount of rose petals that we bought off the internet.
I forgot about
Yeah, I have it
that.
on my phone.
Yeah.
3 pounds of rose hops that we're going to infuse.
What are rose hops?
Rose petals.
Rose?
Rose hips.
We put roses in it.
Yeah, lots of roses.
Yeah, we're cutting it with rose water.
and love.
Roses really make
Mostly
you
love.
sick.
But yeah, for those in Louisville, it's coming out on February the 12th. So by the time this podcast hits, you'll be able to seek it out.
Yeah, and I cannot confirm nor deny that it has aphrodisiac qualities. Yeah, with all those.
You'll
nice-
fall in love with Joe Ball in no time.
I know
David,
it's-
what do you got to plug?
Basically just Monnik. I appreciate this space
Mhm.
tonight. This is cool. This is the first podcast we've been able to do off-site, not by necessity, but it would be great to get around to a couple of local breweries, have people step in, step out, whatever.
Which is also to say sorry if the audio is shit on this episode. We're still
no,
working out our
it's
mobile
fine.
situation.
Totally fine. But other than that, I will plug our Patreon. We had a couple new subscribers today at the Damn It Sats tier, which I did without any authorization from these two.
Wait, what?
Yeah, well, I made a new tier.
We should have put a
and
private lock on that password spreadsheet that we have. David got the password to Patreon somehow.
So
David.
anything that you want me to do, my next task is long form prose on water amphibians. Thanks, Lauren. It'll happen next week. I didn't come prepared tonight, but I'm gonna make it happen. If anybody else has terrible ideas, I'm here to help you. So
Might be a good challenge to see if we could incorporate random topics into discussion. Not that we discuss craft beer that much in general this week, but yeah.
Ryan, what do you got?
As always, 901 Liberty Street. Fall
Hell
City.
yeah.
What are you guys doing for Valentine's Day?
As little as possible.
I look forward to waking up on the 15th.
Sick.
Yeah.
I don't celebrate America's holiday, man.
You
don't
don't celebrate
celebrate
love?
I don't celebrate these like Hallmark card
celebrate-
holidays.
That's fair. That's
You
fair.
don't
But you know what? It's been
celebrate
such a
Yeah,
shitty.
birthdays are a scam.
It's been such a crappy last couple of years. Like, whatever.
I'm fortunate
Just-
that Courtney feels the same way about it that I do.
That's fair.
So I'm just gonna say, like, out of the four of us, well, I don't know Ryan's situation, but out of our three situations, you're the one with a significant other, and you're saying that you have no plans to do anything for Valentine's Day.
Hell no. I'll say, hey, Bubba, happy Valentine's Day. Say it like that, too.
Say that again.
Hey, Bubba.
very Johnny Bravo.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Say, hey, Bubba. I love you.
I-
Romance.
The day that my friends all have an orgy, we're fine. But until then, Valentine's Day is just a day.
Yeah, it's
That's fair.
I don't know.
I went to an anti
Let every day be Valentine's Day.
Day party in college one time, and it was half off tequila shots.
Hey,
And
that's
it-
a good idea.
That got weird.
I do something very depressing.
Two keys in Lexington. All right.
And Goldfish Racing, RIP. I do something very depressing on or around Valentine's Day, though, and that is to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Ooh, that's a good.
Wow.
That's a
Like-
good self. Yeah,
It's
It's a
a
good
self-flagellating
self-flagellating
movie.
move. Yeah.
Mostly because
It's a good movie,
the
though,
first
honestly.
line is Jim Carrey with a voiceover talking in his little journal about February 14th, made up holiday to sell Hallmark cards. It's like, as a fucking seventh grader, I was like, I resonate with this.
I resonate with that.
And so since then, I'm just living like, I'm watching that movie this week. I'm going to forget about things. So,
Or if you have nothing else to do, come get a bottle of Saison du Love from Logan Street Market and drink it while you watch
Oh,
Eternal Sunshine of the
absolutely.
Spotless Mind.
There you go.
so once again, thank you so much for hosting us, Monnik.
Thanks,
in the
Monnik.
upstairs area. We come here enough for other reasons like Germantown Business Association meetings and the like.
And Tuesdays.
But you know, if you have a thing you want to host a private event at, this is a good place to go.
Yeah. Their upstairs is great. If
it's-
you have
it's a
a
great
meeting,
space.
or
Yeah.
I've been to wedding receptions up here. They're
I've-
freaking
yeah,
There's
awesome.
a private bar over here.
Yeah.
My brother hosted a rehearsal dinner here. We had a good time up here.
bands.
Bands with a stage. So yeah, you have those options, and then of course, thank you all to those on Patreon for sponsoring the episode.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
If you're interested in video content, not just video content for the podcast, but also video content for other extra things like
Michael juggling rose petals.
I could juggle rose petals.
I also I found
John
I found
will-
an archive of like those episodes that we tried to shoot like years ago, We might
posting
release some of those up
We're
on
going to
Patreon.
post the archives from
They're pretty
2019,
embarrassing.
2020.
Yeah.
If you want to see a kid hurl themselves off the steps of the homebrew shop,
Yeah, right.
John has that footage probably available.
For my insurance
and,
agent.
And Satterley has him long form prose with salamanders or amphibious creatures or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
Ryan,
some-
we
maybe some
don't have a Ryan.
Feed pics.
We don't have a Ryan's here yet, but we should. We'll work on that in the meantime. So yeah,
Daddy's here.
Daddy tier.
Yeah, I love it.
If you wanna tip Daddy tier $3, you know where to go. It's patreon.com/Kentucky Commons. Guys, thank you so much. Have a good week.
Cheers.
Cheers.